This is a shotgun snap. The Poe, who's going to throw it? Caught! Demetrius Harris! Touchdown! Kansas City! Hungry Pig is passing.
That was an unforgettable moment between these two teams at Arrowhead in prime time as we get ready for another edition of Sunday Night Football. Hey, everybody, and welcome into our game preview this week presented by Crown Royal. My name is Matt McMullen, and this week we're joined by James Palmer of NFL Network. He's going to help us break down Chiefs and Broncos. James, how's it going, man?
I miss you guys. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was all in the Chief bandwagon. I was like a local beat reporter last year with you guys each and every week, and now I'm all over the league. It just doesn't feel right.
We're still doing it virtually now, though, right? I mean, that's the important thing. And certainly glad to have you on the show here today. This could be a big weekend in Chiefs Kingdom coming up. The Chiefs could lock up a playoff spot with a victory over the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football. And I'll keep an eye on the Raiders game. If the Raiders lose and the Chiefs win, that will mean a fifth straight AFC West title. But we'll keep an eye on the Broncos here for now. And the first thing I want to ask you about these Broncos is their pass rush. It's been a real bright spot on this team this season for them. Guys like Bradley Chubb, Malik Reed, really getting after the passer. What do you make of this Broncos pass rush, and how can the Chiefs keep it at bay on Sunday?
Yeah, Matt, you got to remember that Vic Fangio, even though he's a young head coach, he's 62 years old, but he's a young head coach, he's new at that, he is a brilliant defensive mind. And they have been littered with injuries. We know they lost one of the best pass rushers in all of football in Von Miller before the season started. Everybody I talked to in the organization was saying he was having the best training camp they've ever seen him have. So it would have been great to have him out there. But that's just a microcosm of what's gone on in that defensive line that deserves a ton of credit. You thought Jarrell Casey was going to be that difference maker in the middle for them that they brought over from the Titans. You thought Mike Purcell. All the names I'm mentioning have gone down. But the interesting part about it is, and credit to Bill Kollar, one of the best defensive line coaches in all of football who has wrestled a bear in his past, which is also extremely interesting, is how they've been able to do it with new faces, specifically in the middle. They've been relentless. They've coached them up very well. If you look at the way that defensive line plays, they also are tremendous at batting down passes. That's something that Kollar actually did really well with J.J. Watt back in the day when he was in Houston at the beginning of Watt's career, helping him learn how to bat down passes. And he's taught all these different faces that they have used up front to knock the ball down. Shelby Harris is going to return. He's missed about, I want to say 4 weeks with COVID-19, and he's going to come back for this game, but in a limited capacity in some sense. But the guy you have to be aware of is obviously Bradley Chubb. He's not just a dynamic pass rusher, but he's so good in the run as well. But they've coached up, as you mentioned, Malik Reed on the other side. That has been one of the brightest spots, as I talk to people in that building, that they have had on this team as a guy that stepped up in the absence of someone. He has had a really, really strong season, was going to be a rotational guy, has started now, played well, but Bradley Chubb is the key to that group. But I think they do deserve a lot of credit with all the injuries they've had, that they've continued to try to get after the passer.
Yeah, absolutely. See how the Chiefs can handle those guys on Sunday. Now, the Chiefs faced a pretty good pass rush last week in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and mostly held them in check. Of course, Tyreek Hill goes off for 200 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter of that game, so the offense was humming for the most part. We'll love to see something similar here on a Sunday night. And now, speaking of offense, the Broncos' offense has struggled for the most part this season, but one bright spot on offense has been their rushing game. So guys like Phillip Lindsay, Melvin Gordon, maybe one of the best running back tandems in football this year. What do you make of this Broncos rushing attack, and how can the Chiefs slow them down on Sunday?
Yeah, it is a great tandem between the two because they run the football very differently, right? You know, Melvin is much more of a pound the rock, and he's more methodical, and Phillip is, hit the hole extremely quickly, get 20 yards like that, and change the course and the momentum and the energy. That's what he really brings, and they've missed Phillip Lindsay in the games that he has missed. My understanding is with that knee that he left early against the Saints last Sunday, he is going to play in this game. Is he going to be limited? They're not even sure about that. So he might be really good to go. To have both of them back there is extremely important. They didn't pay Melvin Gordon the money they paid him to have Drew Lock go out there and throw the ball 40 times. They wanted to play great defense, run the football, and help out a young quarterback develop. But the way games have gone and they've gotten out of hand, he's had to throw the ball a bunch. They want to run the football, specifically to their left side. That is their strength. That is Dalton Risner at the left guard, and that is Garrett Bowles at the left tackle spot. Maybe one of the best stories in all of football, was essentially written off. Could have got a satchel of footballs for him if you traded for him before this season started. Now he gets a new 4-year deal where he's one of the highest paid left tackles in football. He's really turned it around. They've pulled them at times. They've moved those guys around. Running behind that left side has been their big strength. They'd like to be able to get both those guys going, changing the pace. That's the big aspect that you have to be aware of. Who's in the game and what style of running back is in the game.
And the Broncos ran the ball pretty well against the Chiefs back in that Week 7 matchup, but the story of that game was turnovers. Broncos turned the ball over 4 times, so the rushing attack really didn't matter. Chiefs pulled a big lead in that game because of all those takeaways. Defense got a bit back on track last week against the Buccaneers. 2 takeaways in that one, 2 interceptions off Tom Brady. We'll see if they can keep that going here against the Broncos on Sunday Night Football. All right, James, prediction time. Who wins the game on Sunday night? What's the final score?
It's going to be the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to win this game. And I do think this Broncos defense has done a better job of late. And I'll give them some credit. But it's against guys that have not seen a lot of football. Against Tua Tagovailoa, knocked it out of the park. And with Taysom Hill, those guys haven't had a whole lot of starts. They were confused regularly. It's tough to confuse Patrick Mahomes. You're not really going to be able to do it. To be able to cover Tyreek Hill deep and still have someone with Bryce Callahan off the field and out for this game, to be able to take care of Travis Kelce in the middle of the field, I just don't see them slowing down the Chiefs. I'm going to say it's going to be, I'll say 41-17 Chiefs.
Love the sound of that. James Palmer, awesome stuff, man. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem, Matt.